Imagine you are standing in a crowded room. The lights are warm, the laughter is easy, and everyone around you seems to possess a secret manual for life that you were never given. You are nodding, smiling, and playing your part. But beneath the fabric of your clothes, your skin is cold. There is a tightening in your chest, a silent alarm ringing in the back of your skull. You are waiting for the hand on your shoulder. You are waiting for the music to stop, for the lights to glare white, and for a voice to announce to everyone present that you are a fraud, that you do not belong here, that you have tricked them all, and now, finally, the game is up. This is not just anxiety. This is a haunting. It is the pervasive, suffocating belief that your competence is a coincidence and your success is a clerical error. You are experiencing the phenomenon known as Imposter Syndrome. But let us strip away the clinical label and look at what this truly is. It is a spiritual crisis of identity, a fracture between the self you present to the world and the self you hide in the shadows. We live in an era defined by the pathology of normality. We are conditioned to believe that to be normal is to be seamless, efficient, and perpetually confident. We look at the curated avatars of others, their career milestones, their seemingly effortless relationships, their spiritual clarity, and we compare their highlight reels to our own behind-the-scenes footage. You see their mask, but you feel your own messy, chaotic interior. This discrepancy creates a vacuum, and into that vacuum rushes the shadow self. This is the part of your subconscious that holds every fear, every insecurity, and every memory of failure you have ever tried to repress. The shadow whispers that if you are not perfect, you are nothing. It convinces you that your acceptance by the tribe is conditional on maintaining an illusion of infallibility. You become addicted to the mask. You work harder, not out of passion, but out of a desperate need to keep the evidence of your inadequacy hidden. You are running on a treadmill of existential anxiety, believing that one slip will cast you into the abyss. But why does modern advice fail to heal this? You are told to fake it until you make it, or to stand in front of a mirror and recite affirmations. These are bandages on a broken bone. They fail because they try to fight the ego with more ego. They try to convince you that you are the great person you are pretending to be. But the path to true liberation, the path of light, requires a different approach. It requires us to stop running from the feeling of inadequacy and instead turn around and walk directly into it. We must look at the nature of the mind itself. There is a wisdom in the way of the East that offers us a tool for this surgery. It teaches us about the observer self. Visualize your thoughts of inadequacy as dark, heavy clouds drifting across a vast, open sky. Most of us spend our lives thinking we are the clouds. We cling to the thunder of, I am not enough, and we become drenched in the rain of I am a failure. But the way teaches you that you are not the clouds, you are the sky. You are the silent, vast consciousness that witnesses the thought, I feel like a fraud, without becoming the fraud. By observing the voice that critiques you, you create a sacred distance. You rob the inner critic of its power because you realize it is just a pattern of energy, not a verdict on your soul. When the thought arises, you don't know what you're doing. Instead of panicking, you simply watch it pass, like a leaf floating down a stream. You remain the riverbed, unmoved. Yet, the mind is tricky. It will argue that your lack of knowledge is a danger. Here we must embrace another aspect of the way, the beginner's mind. In our culture, ignorance is treated as a sin. We are terrified to say, I don't know. But the masters of the way tell us that the expert's mind is full, appearing closed and rigid, while the beginner's mind is empty, holding infinite potential. When you feel like a fraud because you don't have an answer, flip the script. Do not hide your emptiness. Cherish it. That space is where the new enters. The admission of ignorance is not the end of your authority. It is the beginning of your wisdom. You are not an imposter for not knowing. You are a student of the universe, and the classroom is endless. However, psychology and mindset shifts can only take us so far. We eventually hit the bedrock of our existence, the question of our worth. If I strip away my achievements, my mask, and my skills, do I still matter? Here we must draw the sword of truth from the ancient light. We must listen to a voice that cuts through time to address the very core of your being. You feel like an accident, a mistake that slipped through the cracks of creation. But the ancient light speaks in Psalm 139 to 13:14, declaring, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Let those words settle in your marrow. You are not a mass-produced product. You were knit together. The complexity of your mind, the capacity of your heart, the very breath in your lungs, these are not random biological events. They are intentional design. The feeling of being an imposter thrives on the lie that you must earn your right to exist through performance. The truth counters this by affirming that your value is ontological. It is based on who made you, not what you do. You cannot be a fraud in a life that was given to you on purpose. But you argue, I am truly unqualified. I have weaknesses that you don't understand. If people saw my flaws, they would leave. You are not the first to feel this paralyzing dread. Consider the story of Moses, a man chosen to lead a nation who stood before the burning bush and argued with the divine. He felt the weight of the imposter syndrome thousands of years ago. In Exodus 4:10-12, Moses pleads, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent. I am slow of speech and tongue." He was looking at his own toolbox and seeing it empty. He was defining his future by his past limitations. And the response from the divine was not a pep talk about self-confidence. It was a radical reorientation of reality. The Lord said to him, "Who gave human beings their mouths? Now go. I will help you speak and will teach you what to say." This is the shattering of the ego. The ancient light reminds us that the calling does not depend on our pre-existing ability, but on the Creator's provision. You are terrified because you think you need to possess the resources before you start the journey. But the spiritual law is that the resources are given in the moment of action. You grow into the role as you walk it, never before. And what of the weaknesses that remain? The anxiety, the stutter, the cracks in the armor? The world tells you to hide them. The shadow tells you they are fatal flaws. But the deepest mystery of the ancient light is found in 2 Corinthians 12-9. The Apostle Paul begged to have his weakness removed, believing it disqualified him. The answer he received changes everything. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." This is the paradox that destroys imposter syndrome. Your inadequacy is not a liability. It is a landing strip for the divine. If you were perfect, if you were self-sufficient, if you were the impenetrable hero you are trying to be, there would be no room for a power greater than yourself. Your weakness is the open door. It relieves you of the crushing burden of being God. You do not have to be omnipotent. You only have to be willing. So, how do we integrate this? How do we walk into work tomorrow, or onto the stage, or into that difficult conversation? We combine the way of flow with the sword of truth. We engage in effortless action. Stop trying to be the person you think you should be. Stop monitoring your performance in real time. When you are doing a task, dissolve into the task. When you are listening to someone, become the listening. If you are focused entirely on the work, there is no self left to feel inadequate. You become a vessel. You allow the skill to flow through you, unhindered by the friction of self-consciousness. As you move forward, visualize the imposter not as a monster, but as a frightened child within you. Do not hate this part of yourself. It is just trying to protect you from rejection, but do not let it drive the car. Take the seat of the observer. Remember the sky. Remember the knitting in the womb. Remember that the mouth is made by the one who calls you to speak. When the feeling of fraudulence rises, whisper to it, I know I am incomplete. That is why I'm strong. You are not here to prove you are a god. You are here to be a human, cracked and open, so that the light may shine through you, not just on you. Walk in that light. You are exactly where you are meant to be.